Do you want to be a savage? Someone who can withstand anything that life throws at them? A warrior? Someone who takes pleasure in suffering? Someone with an unbreakable mentality and unmatched discipline? I'll break down all the things that make David Goggins who he is. The great thing about David Goggins is that anyone is capable of doing what he does. He even says this himself.
I'm a guy that came from nothing. Anybody's capable of doing shit like this. Anybody.
And even if you don't aspire to be the hardest man on the planet, David Goggins can still give you an extremely powerful view on life that will make you indestructible in anything that you do. So how does he do it? First, you need a vision in your mind. You need to have an image of what you want to be or accomplish.
You gotta first see it. You gotta first create this vision in your mind. Like once you create this vision in your mind, it's how am I gonna get there now? But first you gotta create your own vision. And then it's not external. It's the vision created is inside of you.
Disconnect yourself from the external world. Get off social media, enter a dark room without your phone, and start searching within yourself. Create a vision that comes from inside yourself. A vision that is specific to you and your goals. Don't think about someone you want to be like. Once you have that vision of how you want to change your life, of who you want to become, then you can start moving towards that vision.
Visualizing is my biggest tool of life. That's why I've been able to put myself in cold water, put myself in a 100-mile race millions of times before I've done it. And that's the one thing I practice and practice and practice and practice overnight. But also, the most important thing is I practice that feeling of accomplishment that I'm going to have when it's all said and done with.
Visualization is a key part of Goggins' success. It's the ability to see the end result before it happens. The ability to put yourself in that situation where you did the impossible, and to recognize how you would feel in advance and use that to drive yourself.
Coming from the fucking hell you came from. A lot of people start from a good starting point. They have a good foundation. What if you can surpass all of these motherfuckers? What if everybody who was fucking way up here started up here? And you started with no legs. You had to grow fucking legs to even start walking, and then crawling, and then running. And then you start passing people with all this given to them.
Set goals you think you can't accomplish, and then think what if. What if you overcame it? What if you did the impossible? What if you did what you thought was way out of your league? How would it feel? Amazing, right? That's exactly what the what if mentality will give you. If you choose goals you know you can achieve, you don't get that same energy and drive from thinking what if you did the impossible. If you choose something you know you'll achieve easily, that drive and motivation are just not the same. Choose a goal that makes you think, man, that seems impossible to me. But what if I actually pulled that off? It's an amazing mindset that will lead you to accomplish things you never thought possible.
And when I became fat over the years, because I fell back in the hole, I called myself fat. Because I was fat. And people don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, don't call yourself fat. Don't call yourself dumb. If you're not real and raw with who the fuck you are, nothing's going to change.
In our modern society, we don't like to tell ourselves we're fat, dumb, or lazy. We are taught to think positively about ourselves. But this mindset is counterproductive if you are looking to change yourself and become better. If you want to improve yourself, you have to start by being honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself. If you're fat, look in the mirror and say it. If you're lazy, tell the truth. If you can't deal with the truth, then how will you change? Start being brutally honest with yourself. If you want to change, you have to stare at the ugly truth and hate it so much that it leaves you with no other option but to change. Lying to yourself is not an option anymore. Face the truth. Be 100% accountable for what you're doing and how you're acting.
Are you accountable for what you're doing? Are you accountable? I am. And that's where it started. It started with that total accountability of, let's tell people the truth about who you are. And when you can get on and tell someone exactly how fucked up you are, that's the goal in life. To put your life on a billboard, on the busiest road, in the busiest highway in the world, and say, this is how fucked up I used to be. Take it or leave it.
Accept who you are right now, and then realize that you are capable of changing the way you are. Find drive in your insecurities.
Look at yourself, man. Look at yourself. And it was that day I just got real with myself. And every day I came home, I called the accountability mirror. What am I going to do today to change what I see in this mirror?
The accountability mirror is a powerful tool that will guide you on your path to becoming someone you can be proud of. It's a simple but extremely powerful idea to keep you accountable for yourself. Because when you look in that mirror, that is the only person you can't lie to. You know all your insecurities and shortcomings. So when you stand in front of that mirror and ask yourself, who am I? And am I proud of that person? The truth will be shown. The accountability mirror teaches you to compare your progress to no one else but yourself. Did you do better today than you did yesterday? Have you worked on one of the things you hate about yourself today? If so, that is a great accomplishment. In our modern society of technology, we like to compare our progress to people we see on social media. And we look at people who are much further in life than we are, and who have had a vastly different experience of life than we had. Comparing yourself to anyone other than yourself is a bad practice. You have to live in your own world and learn to compare yourself to who you were yesterday. The only person you should run against is yourself.
You start to look around too much at other people and what they're doing, and that starts to corrupt your own dialogue. We are judging ourselves against too many fucking people. You have to judge yourself against yourself.
So write the problems you want to fix on a sticky note and stick them all on your mirror. Then focus on one problem at a time. Don't try to change your massive list of shortcomings all in one go. Every part of yourself that you want to improve has to become a focal point in your life. If you want to be better at the gym, become stronger physically and mentally, make that your only goal and focus your energy intensely on progressing in that one goal.
If I put my 100% into what's in front of me, I will destroy it. If I'm out here just multitasking and shit, I'm gonna half-ass everything I do. So it is the most important thing in the world to me, is being focused at the task at hand.
If you tackle each problem one at a time, you will progress way faster than if you tried to fix all your problems at once. That way, you would overwhelm yourself and drown in your list of problems.
You gotta strategize on each problem you have in life. Slowly break down that problem. Don't think about all the problems you have, just one at a time. And before you know it, you fix all these problems, but you cannot focus on all of them. Just on the one thing at a time. If you're willing to suffer, and I mean suffer, your brain and your body, once connected together, can do anything.
If you want to learn unbelievable things about your mind and body, then deliberately put yourself into a state of suffering. You will learn the greatest things about yourself and your mind in that place. Knowledge that is inaccessible in a normal state. The harder you are willing to suffer, the more you'll learn. Do something that sucks every day. Do something that you don't want to do every day. Train your mind to become comfortable in a state of suffering. You have to start loving the things you hate to do, and then push even harder. Callous your mind to be prepared for the hard times that life will inevitably throw at you. Make suffering your new norm. Most people will want to get out of a state of suffering, but you have to make it your life. That's where you find yourself, and that's how you grow to become a stronger and more resilient person.
What's wrong, man? I'm fucking tired, dude. Why are you tired? Because tomorrow, I gotta do the fucking shit again, man. Whatever the shit is that made me fucking nauseous and sick to my stomach, it made me hurt. There's no ending.
If you've enjoyed the video so far, I'd like to remind you to leave a like and consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future videos. For a channel of my size, seeing one additional subscriber join the community is worth a whole lot. Thank you. Now let's get back to the video. The 40% rule is another insanely powerful tool of David Goggins. It's the idea that every human being has a sort of governor built into them that limits them from reaching their full potential. Like a car that has a limit put on it by the manufacturer. And for us, that governor is the mind.
We have a factory, a nice governor in our brain, and it's a survival mechanism. It protects us from pain and suffering.
Our mind will stop us from pushing too far in order to keep us alive. And it's for good reason. If our mind didn't tell us when to stop performing, we would essentially work ourselves to death without knowing it. If we didn't have this governor, we wouldn't know when our body has reached our limit, and we would really easily die from overpowering our bodies. But there is a problem with this limit that our mind puts on ourselves. It's set way too low. David Goggins believes that our mind will tell us to stop at around 40% of our physical limit. And that will keep you from reaching your full potential. Have you ever pushed yourself so hard in a physical activity and thought you couldn't give any more? You're breathing heavily, your body hurts, you feel dizzy, completely drained, dehydrated, and your head is pounding. You think it can't be possible to push any harder. Well, it turns out that you can. And not just a bit. No, you could do more than double that. You have 60% left before you reach your physical limit of what your body can handle. So how do you change your governor to be set at a higher percentage than 40? Well, the answer is quite simple. You push yourself past that limit. But you can't jump from a 40% limit to a 90% limit from one day to another. It's a slow process that involves training. Not just training of your physical capabilities, but training of the mind. Every time you reach that limit where you think you can't give any more, you push a little harder. And you'll be surprised that you actually can push further when you think you can't.
So if you know that at 40% I'm feeling pain. At 40% I'm feeling pain. That's where the 40% rule kicks in. Now it starts. Okay, I'm feeling pain. My mind's saying all this shit to me. It's saying get out of here, run, flee. The fight or flight kicks in. Okay, we're done, we're not good enough. It starts telling you all these things. You start to believe it because the mind controls all. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind. It's okay, let me see if I can go 45%. And once you start giving yourself more and more hope and start realizing, okay, the mind starts to be, okay, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going right and you're going left. You start then controlling your mind. Start finding more in yourself, and then it goes from 40% to a lot further than that.
So push yourself a little past this limit enough times and you will gradually increase that 40% to 41, 45, 50 and so on. Your mind will reach a higher limit each time you push past your previous limit, and you'll be blown away by what a human body can handle.
And that's why I talk about the warrior mentality. And that's why so many people are lost when I start talking. I chose this world to be a warrior. And I would choose it again if I came back to this world. But the mentality of a warrior is very different than normal mentality. You must be that person on that door, get ready to open it, thinking to yourself, if I die, so be it.
To achieve the impossible, you have to change your thinking and adopt a warrior mentality. You have to want to change so bad that you would die for it. No matter what, you will push so far because you hate your current self so much that you would die to change and become a savage. You would do anything, and if you die while doing it, so be it. Once you adopt a warrior mentality, people won't understand you anymore. You will be so driven and focused on your task, other people will think you are crazy. And when that is the case, you know you're on the right path.
You will never understand what is wrong with me. And that's why I'm so fucking glad you don't. Because I'm in the right fucking spot. When people don't understand you anymore, you're in that spot of obsession and drive where people are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I don't want to talk to you, man, because you're not going to get it.
If people start questioning how the hell you are able to do what you do, then you're on the right path. People won't understand you anymore because the life of a warrior is a whole different mentality and way of life. They shouldn't understand you.
Let's say there's 10 people in this room and we're all mediocre, but I'm the best of the mediocre people. I now think I'm great. I'm great. We surround ourselves around people that make us feel great. They tell us what we want to hear. The second we put ourselves amongst the uncommon people, we don't like that feeling.
Mediocrity is everywhere in our modern society and is accepted by the people around us. If you want to be a savage, you have to put yourself around people where you are not the best. We like to be around people who are mediocre because that makes us feel like we are better than we really are. You would think you are great amongst mediocrity. We enjoy putting ourselves around people who make us feel great and tell us what we want to hear. But if you want to be a savage, you have to put yourself around people who are better than you. Put yourself around people who challenge you and are willing to be real with you and tell you the truth. We don't like to put ourselves around people who challenge us, but to be great, that is a necessity. It's really easy to be great nowadays because everyone is so soft. That's why you need to find people who are above this low standard and aspire to accomplish more. That's how you will grow. That's how you will stay hungry to be better.
All the failures of my life, all the things that I failed and I went back. I failed and I went back and I finally succeeded. All the things that kicked my ass, I put them all in the cookie jar because at times of hell, even the hardest men, in times of suffering, what we do is we forget how hard we really are.
The cookie jar is a tool for pushing harder in the moments when you think you are destroyed and have reached your limit. It's a reminder of what you have accomplished, a reminder of what you have been through and that you are a badass. It's a storage of memories from the toughest things that you have overcome in life. When you think you are broken and at your limit, you search through your memories and find out one time you might have been in a similarly tough situation and overcame it. Use that memory as fuel and as a reminder that you are capable of way more than you think. And that memory is a reminder of that. During hard times, when we think about giving up or quitting, we often like to forget what we have accomplished in the past. But the cookie jar is your reminder that you are capable of overcoming hard things and that you are more of a savage than you think you are in that moment. So grab a cookie from that jar, a memory that reminds you of your accomplishments, and use it to fuel yourself in tough situations.
I use the hurt you're trying to put on me, I flip it upside down and use it. You trying to use it for kryptonite? It's power pillars for me. I'm using it for strength. I just flip negative into positive, that's all it is.
Taking souls is arguably the most famous tactic of David Goggins. Taking souls is a powerful method to take someone or something's energy and use it as your fuel. When you take someone's soul, you will crush their ego and you'll gain energy from it. So how do you take someone's soul? You do what they never thought you would. You break their ego by completely blowing past what they think you are capable of. You give more and push harder when you are in misery. You give more at times when you think it's not possible to give more. You have to keep attacking. The enemy must know that you won't stop fighting. You won't give up. You must break the soul of whatever is in front of you. Then nothing can stand in your way. Because nothing wants to stand in front of something that will never let loose. But that requires you to give more when you are at your worst. In a horrible environment where everybody is miserable, find strength in the misery. You have to take pleasure in the fact that no one wants to be where you're at right now. Taking souls is not about hurting the person you're against. It's about finding the tactical advantage in every situation that you can.
Get back to fucking work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Get off the podcast. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all the fucking noise. Get back to the fucking mental lab.